Welcome, everyone. Last night, I made an error. I was in a golf shirt and jeans, and everybody else overdressed me, so today I decided to do the opposite. So thank you. And again, I got my 10,000 steps last night in dancing. So I did. I was looking at my phone and trying to get the step count up, so I achieved that. So welcome once again. I think we had several activities yesterday to kind of help get people together and for everyone to get to know each other prior to the event. So there was a wine tasting expedition. Some of you went on that. I think some of you didn't come back from that one. But it was great to see a local winery win a lot of gold medals in their business, and we had a lovely afternoon there. Some people got to go to the Sai Hospital, charitable hospital close by. It's a state-of-the-art hospital that was just opened, I think, 6 months ago. And then some people got to play golf on the golf course right behind this hotel, which is one of the top 3 golf courses in India. And then, of course, last night we had Usha Utup, who was regaling us with all her songs. And so that was a great start to our event. But I want to tell you briefly the story of Indiaspora, how it got started. So in 2011 or so, I was trying to think we should bring our community together to be a force for good. And worked over a year to meet with community leaders and different people in different professions. I met with CEOs and VCs and doctors and lawyers and artists and academics, and to really understand what needed to be done. And then, as a founder, I know there are a lot of founders in the room here, you get overly optimistic about what you can achieve. And any founder will know that. And so what I did was, in my enthusiasm and belief, I invited 100 leaders who I'd either talked to or met occasionally, and some of them corresponded by email, to do the following. So imagine this. You had to fly into JFK. So that was the first request. So anyone in the US or overseas had to fly into JFK. Second, in those days, there was no Uber. So you had to actually rent a car, JFK, and drive 3 hours into the middle of nowhere in upstate New York. And to spend a weekend at a hotel that was a resort, but it looked like a haunted house. It was called the Mohawk Resort. You could go look at pictures. And lo and behold, at 100 people, I invited 90 of them showed up. And so that was the start of Indiaspora, is that belief with a community that said, we need to start something, and we need to have this group of people get Indiaspora started. And a couple of them are here in the room today. One is Rajan Navani. Stand up, Rajan. He's on our board. He was there from day one. Is Sri Srinivasan here? I don't see him, but you'll see him as one of our hosts later today. He's here. And Priya Natarajan. I don't think Priya has made it yet, who's also on our board with Yale University. So some of those people have been with us on this 14-year journey. So what did Indiaspora do right after convening was we had the opportunity to be the first Indian organization in the US do a presidential ball. So in 2013, when President Obama got reelected, we decided that we would convene in Washington to show that we can be a force, an influential force, and a force in politics. So we had 1,300 Indians all dressed up in kurtas and saris and sherwanis come together in DC, and the political system in DC looked at us and said, here's a new community that has a lot of money, and of course, in politics, you need money. So that was kind of the start of our engagement in the political system. And then in 2017, we had an Indiaspora Gala in DC as well, where now we acknowledged that we are not only 1% of the population, we are 1% of Congress. So that was a big milestone event for the diaspora community in the US. And now fast forward, in the last election cycle in the US, over 350 Indians ran for office, a huge number. City council, school board, mayor, Congress, Senate. I mean, so what has happened now is the 5 million strong US diaspora community is becoming a political force in the US. We then looked at another project that was brought to us, and that was to get a US postage stamp, a Diwali stamp. And when we looked at what had happened, of course, there's a stamp for Christmas, a stamp for Hanukkah, and there was a stamp for Eid. But a holiday that's celebrated by over 1 billion people did not have a postage stamp. And you might say, why a postage stamp? It's an innocuous thing. But we put forth a major campaign to get a US postage stamp. But that led to so many other things. Because of a postage stamp, we became more of a mainstream community. Because of that, the community was able to go to New York City and ask the school district to make that an optional school holiday. Then it got states like Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and more recently, the largest state in the US, California, to make that a state holiday. So these are the kind of things we initially got engaged with. And then when COVID happened, the community looked really at India at that time during the Delta wave, and a lot of you who lived in India would know how bad that was. We looked at it and said, we have to do something. So we started our own campaign with our members, our community, and partners, and in 1 month, we were able to raise $15 million for relief in India, just in a single month. And through that program, we were able to get oxygen equipment, feed migrant workers, so on and so forth. And we also raised $1 million for food banks in the US. So that was our foray into philanthropy. We still do a philanthropy summit. We also do an online virtual climate summit. We do a healthcare program. All this is done virtually, but we also have physical events like this. So we kind of came from community development, political engagement, getting involved in philanthropy, to then expanding the Indian diaspora organization, Indiaspora, to a global organization. So we now have chapters in Canada, UK, Singapore, UAE, and Australia. We jokingly call this the Big Six, where there's successful diasporas. We have thriving chapters and members, many of whom have made it to Bangalore in spite of all the issues and challenges. And we also have a presence here in India. But I really want to acknowledge Sanjeev Joshipura, who's been with us almost 10 years, and he's the driving force behind the organization. So Sanjeev, thank you so much. So that's where we are at today. So what we have in store now is we did 2 reports, and one was the impact of the Indian diaspora on the United States 2 years ago, and that was very successful in documenting how the Indian diaspora in the US actually was helping the United States and also acting as a bridge to India. Then we did our forum last year. Many of you were there in Abu Dhabi, where we had 500 people convene, and we did a report on how the UAE diaspora had helped and impacted the UAE economy and its community. And today, I think Sanjeev and Niranjana will be unveiling a brand new report that we've done documenting how the Indian diaspora, the 35 million strong community, has made an impact on India. But more importantly, what is the blueprint for the diaspora, for the 35 million people, to actually partner with India in its journey to 100. So with that, I will turn the mic back over to Sanjeev. Thank you once again. Hope to see you over the next 3 days and really make some new friends, but also move the agenda for India and the agenda for the diaspora forward. Thank you.